So over the last few months, I was going through my collection and realizing that there was a lot of notes that a lot of my fragrances have in common. Whether that be plum or the one that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and that is amber. And so a lot of my fragrances I noticed had amber. Amber is a widely used note in a lot of different fragrances, especially the fall and wintertime fragrances. And so in this video, I'm going to be giving you, I don't have a lot of niche, just an FYI, so I'm going to be giving you 10 of my favorite amber heavy fragrances from my collection that are designer and introductory niche. And so without further ado, let's get it. Alright, my great smelling dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. Before I get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And if you like my content, consider following me on Instagram and TikTok. Also, comment below and let me know what are some of your favorite amber fragrances. Again, I don't have a lot of niche fragrances with amber in them. The ones that I do are probably going to be in this video, or I just don't like them as much as the ones I do have in this video. So I noticed that amber is one of my favorite fragrance notes because it's in pretty much every fragrance that I love. I absolutely love the amber in it. The ones I'm going to be talking about in this video are the ones that have amber as a forward note, because some have it as just a supporting resinous quality or a sweet quality that provides that sweetness or that vanilla type. And so with that said, I'm going with amber is used in a lot of different fragrances in a different manner. If you don't know, amber is not a naturally occurring note that they can use in fragrances, so it is synthetically made. Some fragrances make it seem almost natural, and they do it well, they blend it nicely, and so that's what these fragrances are going to be. So with that said, I'm going to get straight into it. This is going to be 10 of my favorite from my collection that have the note of amber in it. Starting with one, the price ranges here are all over the place. This is one that just came out recently. It is a clone, or supposed to be a clone, of KILLIAN Angel Share. This is by Lattafa. I actually gave a bottle away of this, and then I had to buy a new one because I liked it so much. It's Lattafa Khamrah. Some people call it Khamrah, but it's Lattafa Khamrah. It has this glass bottle with the plastic cap. I don't really like the bottle style because it gets fluid all over the edge. But with that said, it is a really nice ambery sweet fragrance. The main notes you get in Khamrah are cinnamon, vanilla, myrrh, and amberwood. The reason I said it's kind of a clone of Angel Share because it's supposed to be cloning Angel Share. But you really don't get that huge boozy quality. You actually get more booze when you smell it off of the actual atomizer. I noticed that you don't really get much booze in this fragrance as you do in Angel Share, and it doesn't come off as really as high quality. But with that said, it is still a really nice quality fragrance. It's well blended, the quality is there, it's just not at the quality of Angel Share. Some people even said they like Khamrah better than Angel Share. I'm not personally one of those. I love Angel Share. I do love Khamrah. It has more of like if you like the sweeter, more resinous, it almost has like a little bit of almost like a fruitiness to it. Then you would like to go with this. It's a little bit heavier than what you would get with Angel Share. But like I said, the notes in there, the main note you do get is that amber. Then you get that vanilla and you get that myrrh. It all kind of comes together as very similar type notes you're mixing together to have just one really nice, heavy, sweet, resinous fragrance that is more of like a vanillic, amber, slightly fruitiness. I think because of all of that sweetness, it comes off that little bit of fruitiness in it. But overall, it has some amberwood in it as well that gives it that like a slight woodiness in the dry down. Overall, it's a really sweet fragrance, really nice, gets you noticed. Really good for the fall and winter. It lasts about 7 to 8 hours, if not a little bit more than that. It's a great clone. Lattafa Khamrah, definitely one you need to pick up if you can find it. Now going into the second one here, it's going to be a special edition from the Dolce & Gabbana The One line. This is the One Luminous Night. The main notes you get in this are dates, amber, incense, and black pepper. So I love the bottle. It's that blue and the gold. So this fragrance, for the price that it usually comes on, which you can only find them in Europe, but you can also get them on Joma Shop and on Fragrance Buy from time to time under $100. So the main notes you get in this, you get a really, really nice amber. It's a high quality, niche quality amber. But you also get these dates coming in, which makes it very different. It makes it unique to the point where when you first spray it on, you might not like it, or it takes a while for it to grow on you. At least for me it did. And now it's one of my favorite amber fragrances out there. Those dates give it that unique, warm, almost deep fruitiness. But that amber in this, very similar to something later on this list, Grand Soir, which is from MFK. It has this deep resinous quality, and it's a very deep, very heavy fragrance. This is a loud fragrance, one that's going to project very nicely. If you like the one line, it's not as similar to that. You can tell that there's pieces of the one in there, but if you like Grand Soir or really heavy, this is that heavier, less on the sweet aspect, leaning more on the dark side of amber. And this is really nice. And then you get those dates in there, and then you get that incense giving a little smoke, some black pepper, all of them dark notes, spicy notes. It's a spicy, semi-warm, fruity mixture with that nice amber, which is the main note in this fragrance. That's the one, Luminous Night. Going into the third one here, this is going to be a popular designer that just got discontinued this year, but still available to find, by Prada. This is Prada Black. I mentioned this on my Halloween video. This fragrance has also been growing on me a lot. When I first sprayed it like 6-7 months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I thought to myself, it's just basic. It's just an amber musky fragrance. And while it still is that, it's really nice for date nights. It's one of those fall and winter fragrances that you can also wear in the spring and summer at night. It's a little bit masculine, but at the same time gives you that casual feeling to it. The main notes you get in Prada Black are amber, musk, bergamot, and coumarin. In the opening, that bergamot gives a little bit of freshness, and then in the dry down, you do get that coumarin or tonka bean coming in to give it a little bit of that powdery facet, mixed with that amber and musk, which really do play the biggest part in the fragrance. It has like a nice mixture of the sweetness from the amber and that darkness from like the one Luminous Night. Put that in the middle, and you have a little bit of both. It has that sweetness, that darkness, that heaviness, but also a little bit of this lightness and freshness in the opening as well, along with that musk playing a big role underneath the entire fragrance, and a little bit of powder from the tonka. That is Prada Black. Moving into the fourth one here on my list, and this is going to be the only one that's more of like a summertime freshy or blue fragrance. This is there's a few of these that are actually discontinued but can still be found, and this is by Bvlgari. It's Aqua Pour Homme Atlantique. The best way to explain this fragrance, take the original Aqua Pour Homme, that's sea salty aquatic, mix it with a more ambery, heavy version of Versace Dylan Blue. So amber in a blue fragrance or a fresh fragrance comes across different than what you would get in a fall and winter deeper, darker fragrance. This one, it's kind of like if you took a amber heavy, kind of sweet and resinous fragrance with that black pepper, a little bit of spice, mix it together with a sea salty aquatic, put them together, and you have yourself a nice versatile daytime blue fragrance. The amber in here is a very notable aspect. A lot of people say they can't smell the amber in this or Versace Dylan Blue. I smell it. It's just a different type of amber, so you just might need to pick it out differently. It's really nice. If you can get your hands on it, Aqua Pour Homme Atlantique is a nice versatile fragrance, definitely more for the daytime, which is surprising because the amber usually you think of like more nighttime fragrances, but the amber is done very well in that. It's like an amber spicy fragrance mixed with that sea salty aquatic. So that's Aqua Pour Homme Atlantique. Going into another one, that's another cheapie. This one you can get paired with Navy Black from the same line. They're both 100 milliliter bottles for $25 total. And this is by Zara. It is Warm Black. The main notes in Warm Black are ginger, vanilla, leather, tonka, and amber. It's an amber spicy fragrance. It reminds me of like CH Men Prive if you took pieces of tobacco vanille and put them in it. It has a leather that creeps throughout the entire fragrance, but it's not too heavy. It also smells like there's a little bit of a tobacco in here mixed with that vanilla, amber, and spice. Really, really nice fragrance overall. You can definitely tell there's like that tobacco and leather, but it just creeps underneath. So if you don't like tobacco or you don't like leather, it's not really too forward on those. It's really nice. You could also get this for a really good price. Again, $25 for 2 bottles. One is more of a fall and winter fragrance, and one is going to be more of your fresh spring and summer fragrance with navy black. The amber in here is not going to be as forward as a lot of the other ones that I've mentioned. It's not as heavy or resinous, but it is the main note here. Mixing that with some of that vanilla, as well as those, again, it comes off like almost like a less expensive tobacco vanille mixed with a little bit of like the leather from CH Men Privé. Really nice. That is Zara Warm Black. This is my newest pickup. This is by Issey Miyake, rest in peace. It is L'Odyssey Ambre Noir, or Noir Ambre. I was trying to read it backwards. But anyway, I should just go with my gut. Noir Ambre is fantastic fragrance. The main notes you get in it are amber, leather, cedar, cinnamon, and vanilla. So this can be a signature amber fragrance for sure. It can be worn pretty much any season. I would stay away from the really heavy hot seasons, but this one is fantastic. It has that amber, it has a little bit of leather flowing throughout, there's some woods in there. It also has some vanilla in the dry down, as well as like a little bit of like a cinnamon spice, and a little bit of like a fresh aromatic in there as well. It's one that is really surprising. It's what put me back onto the line of L'Odyssey. I didn't like the fresh L'Odysseys, and I still don't, but this one is fantastic. It really put me back onto Issey Miyake. Now there's 3 other ones that I actually like. So you need to definitely try this out. It's one of the best amber fragrances out there. It's niche quality. I think you can get it for like $70 or $80, and it could be worth $200 and $250. That's the type of amber that it really feels like. So Noir Ambre, fantastic fragrance. Ask anybody. It is one of the best amber fragrances that's out there, no matter who you are. Going into the next one, it's a little bit of a different type of amber. This is by Parfums de Marly. It is OAJAN. So, the main notes in OAJAN are amber, cinnamon, honey, vanilla, and benzoin. So this one, I've said it before and I say it again, it's like a warm, sticky, spicy cinnamon pie mixed with a little bit of like a vanilla ice cream or like a black vanilla or something like that when you get to the dry down. It's one of my favorite Parfums de Marly's. I'm going to spray it on my hand right now, actually. Yeah, it's in the same realm as something like Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Privé or Angel Share. It's kind of in the middle. It has the spiciness. It has that cinnamon. It has that amber mixing in there. It's so, so good. And then you can tell the amber gives it this like sticky, warm, resinous quality that creates that pie-like feeling like I told you. It's really, really good. And then you have that vanilla mixing in there. It always seems like when you have amber, you have vanilla or tonka bean accompanying it in any of these fragrances. They're usually the notes that go really well hand in hand with the amber. So that's Parfums de Marly OAJAN. Fantastic fragrance for the fall and winter. Now going into one of the most well-known amber fragrances, and this is another designer by Dolce & Gabbana. It is the One Eau de Parfum. So I already did the Luminous Night, but this one is different, so I wanted to... I wasn't going to put both of them in, but they are 2 completely different types of amber. This is your sweet ambery tobacco, while that one's the deep, dark, warm, heavy amber. So the main notes you get in the One Eau de Parfum are amber, tobacco, ginger, and grapefruit. You get that ginger, grapefruit, tobacco mixture you get in the original and this one. This one is a little bit fresher in the opening than it is in the dry down. When you get to the dry down, it's what it's known for. You get that amber, you get that tobacco, and a little bit of that ginger sweetness in there. Mix it all together. It's one of the best fall and wintertime fragrances. I don't care who you are. Some people say it's worn out. I don't think so, because where I live, I've never smelled it on another human being, and I think it's fantastic. You can get this for $50 on FragranceNet. Dolce & Gabbana, the One Eau de Parfum. While the performance is lackluster, 5 hours with 2 hours of moderate, it's worth it because the smell is great. I love wearing it in the morning, but it is more of a fall and winter nighttime fragrance, but I love wearing it in the morning. It's one of my favorite wake-up fragrances. Now we have 2 more. One's a designer, and one is what pretty much amber is known for. So this one was picked by one of my subscribers. This is Armani code PROFUMO. I honestly didn't even think about this when I was going through, but one of my subscribers, I believe it was Mo or Hamzat, they said Armani code PROFUMO, and I was like, oh, Yeah, you're right. The main notes you get in Profumo are amber, tonka, leather, cardamom, and lavender. So you take that Armani code line, you make it more into like a night out clubbing type fragrance. You add that amber, you add that tonka, and then it's really, really nice overall. You get some cardamom to give it a bit of a fresh spiciness. This can be worn all year round, even though night times where I live. Maybe if you live in LA or something like that, no. But this is more of the fall and winter type fragrance. But I know a lot of people wear it during the spring and summer at night. If you want a nice date night fragrance, you like Armani code line, it is still the code line. It's just a sweeter, a little bit heavier version of that Armani code line. Then go with this. Armani code, it's my biggest bottle I own. Armani code Profumo is a great ambery fragrance. Has a little bit of a powder in there as well. Lasts about 8 hours. Maybe a little bit less than that, like 7 to 8 hours, but it projects nicely. I would say between moderate and above average, so about arm's length for the first 3 hours. Going into the last one, and probably the best amber fragrance on this list, just because it was made to be the best amber fragrance on this list. I don't have a full bottle of it, as I don't have the money right now to pay for something like this. It is by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, or MFK. It is Grand Soir. I was sent this by one of my subscribers, so thank you to them. The main notes you get in Grand Soir are amber, lavender, vanilla, and tonka. This is amber throughout. You get that lavender giving it this like fresh aromatic, but for the most part it's amber, 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 amber with a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of lavender, a little bit of tonka to give it a little bit of powderiness, but it's like an amber fragrance. It is fantastic through and through. I love it. My wife loves it. My wife said this is one of her favorite fragrances I wore. I'm going to buy it at some point. I just need to wait for some kind of sale. If it ever goes on sale, I honestly don't know. But MFK's Grand Soir is just the picture of perfection for amber from the opening through the dry down. It is just amber, and it's sweet, but not too heavy, not too resinous, but it still has those qualities blended perfectly. It just comes off amazing. It doesn't project too heavy, but not too light, and it stays there for quite a long time, like 8 hours. It is, I mean, that's just the projection. And the longevity is 10 plus hours. Grand Soir, for me, has the lightness, has the heaviness, can be worn anytime you want it to be. Fantastic. It is the ideal amber fragrance for the perfect man who wants the perfect fragrance that is a perfect amber fragrance. Grand Soir is definitely up there in my top 10 fragrances. It's fantastic. I just need to buy a bottle. Let me know about any kind of other amber fragrances you guys are thinking, because those are 10. That's my first 10 list that I ever did. I'll get better at the 10 list, but I don't have enough fragrances to do 10 lists all the time. But those are 10 amber fragrances from my collection. Let me know what you think. Other ones that you like. I know there are a lot of niche out there. This is mostly just designer amber. But thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace out.